So hey everybody, welcome back to my 5-day spring cleaning challenge where we're learning how to reduce our toxic load in our homes. My name is LeBlanc-Richard and I am creator of the Hippie Kitchen. I'm also an entrepreneur and small business owner, as well as a coach, a certified coach in holistic nutrition. So welcome back. If you're just joining us and you haven't watched the last couple videos, this is day 3. So definitely go back and watch the other 2 videos. It's full of information. We found out yesterday a lot about how we're affected by toxins in the air aromatically, and what we can do to change those habits by making homemade products. And we also talked about diffusing. So we were told that the giveaway is a diffuser. So this is the diffuser, and I'll be giving this away with a 15 milliliter bottle of On Guard, which is the protective blend and immunity blend, which I'm actually using in my house right now. My husband took off this morning and he was coughing up a storm. So I've been diffusing all day to kill the germs. And so we talked about the giveaway, and then today we're going to talk about topical toxicity or dermal toxicity. The toxicity that we encounter through our skin in the cleaning products that we use. Again, it's the spring cleaning season, so we're talking about cleaning products and the hidden dangers in our homes of all the products that we're using. So today that's what we're going to talk about. And when we talk about things, so for me, this reality, topical toxicity, was huge for me when I was going through my issues. And I think, to be honest, looking back, it always was. I was always in an allergist's office when I was young. If you remember my story, I already had an autoimmune disease from a young age. So topically, I remember always having an issue with products. It was very rare that I could buy a new product out of the blue without maybe reacting to something. And then also looking back now and knowing now why, which I'll explain, but overusage of certain products where you become sensitive to those products and have reactions. So a lot of people have that problem. And then there's a lot of people who have now, when I was exposed to mold, my system went crazy. That was when I started to experience, the eczema and the skin problems and the reactions to things, which, again, in the past I've always kind of had reactions to things. But as far as the skin goes, that's when I first started to experience it. But there are people who experience this every day. And the more and more consulting and coaching that I do, I hear more and more stories about eczema and psoriasis and reactions. They're not even sure where it's happening. So there could be so many reasons for it, obviously, and we're not here to do that type of class. We're here to talk about the cleaning products, but that lay in there all the toxins. So for me, now knowing how awful they are, we're talking about when I finally got my blood work back after finding out about this mold problem that we had and my immune system going crazy, I finally get the blood work back, and lo and behold, now I have a thyroid disease. Now I was diagnosed with a thyroid disorder. So my immune system is now attacking my thyroid. So now I have a second autoimmune disease. Then, as things progressed, as I said, I was sick for a long time, regardless of whether I took myself out of that situation, because I had to make so many other changes. But I started to experience arthritis. I was having arthritis in my hips, my hands, my feet. It was starting to really affect me. So your immune system is definitely nothing to fool around with. So it's definitely important for us to realize what we're contributing to when it comes to our own health. So again, reducing our toxic load. So the thing too about these things that we use in our cleaning products that affect us dermatologically or topically is that many of the toxins that you find in these products are hormone disruptors. And so both of the autoimmune diseases that I have are affected by hormones, as is most inflammation and many, many other conditions that people deal with. So when we talk about toxins and we know that they're hormone disruptors and endocrine disruptors, that's a huge deal. And these are products, again, that we're using on a regular basis. So, you know, these companies, there's a lot of corporate leeway, and I keep saying that, but they really don't have to tell us what's in these products. So we continue to use them. And based on their testing and what they tell us is in them, they tell us that it's not dangerous at these little levels. Well, when you're using something every single day, we're not talking about little levels anymore. We're talking about chronic usage, which sometimes can cause sensitivities, and then those sensitivities can cause chronic inflammation and chronic symptoms. So when we get back to exactly what products we're talking about, they're numerous. So we're talking about body creams, shaving creams, let's see, deodorant. Yes, deodorant is a big one. Shampoo, your conditioner, you name it. Soap, body wash, laundry detergent, dryer sheets, perfume. So, and then we've got, of course, bug spray. And my huge thing, which I'm always looking for the best, more natural products, is cosmetics. I enjoy makeup. I enjoy cosmetics. I always have. And there's a lot of hidden toxins in there. So, as you know, and I'm getting older, and so we think of our kids too and how sensitive their systems are, and they start experiencing with these things when they're 12 and 13 years old. And not only that, but we've been cleaning around them since they were babies. So it's definitely something that we need to be aware of. So we're going to talk about all of those things today and how we can replace them with the use of essential oils, those natural, volatile, aromatic compounds found in plants that protect plants from disease and from all of their exposures. The crazy powerhouse essential oils. So when we talk about body creams, you know, you can make your own products. There's so many recipes out there too. Like Pinterest is just amazing when it comes to this stuff, right? I definitely encourage education, so knowing your oils and not overdoing it. And I'm going to say, before I forget about that, this definitely needs to be said. So anytime that we use something, and I had mentioned it earlier about how if you overexpose yourself to something, you can become sensitive to it. Well, that's true with essential oils too. So I always think it's important to mention oil safety. Respect the oils. But this can go with anything. This can go with food. This can go with essential oils. This could go with creams, regular, conventional creams and products that we use, you know, from the pharmacy that most people use. So when you use something over and over and over again, your system becomes sensitive to it and has a reaction to it. So my major problem was if I switched body creams, if I went with anything too perfumey. And then my big problem for many years, I went through a cycle of doing this over and over again, was deodorant. And there's so many reasons why we shouldn't use conventional deodorant. You know, the heavy metals that are in there. And then we as women shave our armpits and then we apply deodorant under them, and our pores are completely open and ready to just welcome all of those toxins into our body. And so that's what happens. And there's so many things in there. There's known parabens. In most of the products that we use, and parabens have been found in the dissection of breast tumors. So this just goes on and on and on, right? So body creams, you can make your own with some wonderful just homemade products like coconut oil. You know, coconut oil that you get at your wholesale store. and it's really great for your body. And avocado oil, like I said, and jojoba oil, and there's so many oils out there that are wonderful for our skin, and they make wonderful carrier oils for essential oils if you're going to use them in some manner. But just coconut oil on its own, or any natural vegetable oil, not processed but natural vegetable oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, avocado oil, there's so many wonderful oils out there. And so we're talking, that's in cooking too. There is liquid coconut oil as well. Like when you're using vegetable oils on your body, they tend to be a little greasy and they can leak through your clothing. So there is such a thing as fractionated coconut oil, which you can get directly through, doTERRA, but you can also find these products at your handy dandy wholesale store. And then when all else fails, there's the lovely Amazon, which me living out in the middle of nowhere, I love my Amazon. So a lot of people will use other products that they'll find, natural products. They find those recipes. Again, we talked about beeswax for candles. You can make homemade creams and balms out of beeswax. There's clay to make your own. They call it pit paste. So you can make your own deodorant, and instead of you can buy the containers where you can make your deodorant and you can use in the same way. You can make a spray. You can make the pit paste, so you just apply it with your fingers instead of rolling it on. You can keep it in the beauty about that is these glass jars, right? You use a jelly jar, you use leftover baby jars, baby food jars. There's so many ways to recycle, right? And that's the way we want to live anyway, right? Rinse, reuse, and recycle. And then shaving cream, same as I was talking about women as we shave our armpits. We've got our gents shaving their faces, and then they're putting all this chemical on their faces, whether it's fragrances, perfumes, aftershaves, or just the shaving cream alone, really. There's stuff in there. And then they shave and they open up their pores. Same thing, just loaded with toxins. And remember, our skin is our biggest organ. It takes 20 seconds for our body to absorb what we put on it, for it to go through our system. When we talk about shampoos and soaps, so they have great, you buy your own, mine's dirty. And when we're talking about soaps and body washes, just reuse those bottles. Reuse what you've got. I don't worry too much about the body washes, as long as it's a hard container. I have so many different types of bottles. So these are great. You can put your body wash right in this. You put it on the edge of the tub and you pump it and you've got your body wash. So then your hand soap for your sink, you would use the same thing. Even porcelain would be fine. So they have these everywhere now, and you can make your own out of a mason jar. They sell the tops, and boom, you can make a homemade gift with some homemade soap. So a homemade soap would just consist of some Castile soap, which I don't have any with me right now. I buy it on Amazon, it's my cheapest, but I can find it anywhere. I can find it at the natural food stores. It's quite pricey at those specialty stores. You can find it all over. And again, Amazon is great for that stuff. So you make your hand soap, a little bit of Castile soap, some water. You could throw some vinegar in there if you wanted to for disinfecting purposes. And then you add, 10 to 15 drops of essential oil in here. I wouldn't recommend a citrus if it's summertime, the phototoxicity, but a melaleuca is really good, or the Purify. So there's so many options. So you've got homemade body wash, you've got homemade hand soap. Then as far as shampoos go, you can pretty much do the same thing. You can put a little, you can make a homemade conditioner with a little bit of oil and some essential oils, run it through your hair. There's a lot of essential oils that are beneficial for hair. I'm not too particular on them at the moment, but I'll try to flash some information as we go along in the video. So definitely, and also there's some that are good for skin. So when you're talking about making a homemade shaving cream or a homemade body wash, definitely you want to find those oils that complement our skin. There's so much information out there. And also, the thing about doTERRA that's great is that they have their own all-natural products. So you don't have to make anything. You know, not everybody is Susie Homemaker and wants to make everything homemade. As far as laundry detergent goes, we don't really think too much about laundry detergent because it's just washing our clothes. We don't make the connection all the time, right? But what we wash our clothes in then goes on our body. And there are a list of known toxins in laundry detergent. Not only that, but it's so expensive. You go to, and they're taxable items. That's the other thing. These are taxable items. So when you buy food items to make your stuff, you're not paying any tax. Not to mention that, but you're paying for the packaging that you just rinse and recycle because that's the best thing to do. And it takes up a lot of space and it's really unnecessary waste when you think about it, right? So it's expensive, it's unnecessary waste, and it's toxic. But we just don't know. We just keep doing it. It's how we've been taught. It's what we see. It's our routine. That's why we're here, right? We're here to do better. When you know better, you do better. So when it comes to laundry detergent, I have a cute little cookie jar that we found at I don't know, in one of our finds somewhere, maybe a yard sale or maybe here. We bought a cottage and it came with a lot of stuff in it. So this is a glass cookie jar, which I don't make a lot of cookies. I make a lot of cookies, but I actually have a display for that. So I don't really use the cookie jar. So I do have a couple of these. I have a ceramic one too. So I make my laundry detergent and I put it in this cookie jar, and then I have a throwaway later measuring cup so that I can portion out my laundry soap. And then I use a half a cup of my laundry detergent and a half a cup of vinegar, and the essential oils I mix right in there. So that's my laundry detergent. So when I make my laundry detergent, I just use baking soda. Again, I'll post some measurements and recipe as we go along. So I just have my baking soda. So I use about, well, I'll put the measurements on, but I use baking soda, and then I use citric acid. I don't always use citric acid. If I don't have it on hand, I don't use it, but it's completely natural, and it helps really get clothes clean. So I get this right on Amazon, handy dandy Amazon. I add some of that. Again, I'll post the recipe, and then I add like 50 drops of essential oils into here. You can even add some Epsom salts. There's different recipes. Again, Pinterest is great for that, and I'll post a recipe for that. So that's laundry detergent. So there's no waste. I end up saving money this way. So there's ways to save money. There's ways to get cheap product and non-taxable food products. So you're saving all around, and you're not creating extra waste, and you're not poisoning your family. So now we're going to talk about dryer sheets while we're still talking about laundry products. So dryer sheets are just as toxic as anything else, and they are the last thing that touches our clothes before we put them on our body. At least with the laundry soap, I guess we could say that it kind of rinses away. But dryer sheets have a lot of synthetic fragrances in them, and we already talked yesterday about what's in those synthetic fragrances and how bad they are for us in general. So now we're putting them on our skin, and so of course it's the never-ending thing, right? It's just not good for us. So as far as that goes, again, we have our glass jar, and what I did was I went and got some baby wipes, baby face cloths. They were really cheap. I got these at the dollar store, right? And so I got like a package of 12. You could make a bigger thing if you wanted to. And then I just make in a container, I fill it with some vinegar and then some essential oils into a mixture, And then I put the cloths in here and I put the liquid into the jar and I kind of smush it down. I don't drench them. They're not swimming in there. I kind of just get it wet enough so that they're all a little moist. And then I take the rest of the liquid and I put it in a mason jar and cover it up, and it's ready for the next time. So I choose my essential oils, whatever scents that I want to use, and boom, I have my recyclable dryer sheets. And so then these will go through the wash, and then I'll just dry them and I'll put them back in the jar and use the rest of the liquid. So we've hit the laundry detergents, and so we talked about soaps, and another one is perfume. I totally remember. I've always loved girly things. I'm such a girly girl, and I loved perfume. And family members always used to get the perfume kit at Christmas time and give that to me, and I always loved getting that stuff, but I could never wear it. I would put that stuff on and I would just sneeze my head off and cough and get irritated, and my mother would say, "Oh, you're allergic to the perfume," and that just went on, and I finally realized, yes, I'm allergic to pretty much every perfume. For a very long time, I wasn't able to use perfume, so when I found oils, I was actually pretty happy. So I make my own perfume, which is always nice, and again, these creative things make great gifts, and it just shows you the versatility of essential oils. And again, when we talk about scents, there are places that are scent free and that you definitely shouldn't be wearing any scent at all if you're working in those types of atmospheres. However, these fragrances are not synthetic and they're very different than perfume. You can definitely tell the difference. So, and they don't bother me at all, and I've never had any complaints. I don't like spray myself in essential oils, don't do that either. But so I make roller bottles. So I had gotten into a habit of actually using an auric oil. It was like an Indian auric oil. I've been using it since I was 17. It was the only thing I didn't really react to. But even now, using essential oils, I can tell that that is a synthetic fragrance, even though it didn't bother me. So I completely made the switch over. So again, this is just a few drops of essential oils, whatever have you. These are some emotional blends that they have from doTERRA that I've actually mixed together. One's called Peace and one's called Passion. And I mix them together and I enjoy this smell. And I put probably 8 drops of essential oil into this bottle. It's a 10 milliliter bottle. And then I filled it up with fractionated coconut oil, which won't affect my clothes. And I just roll it on my wrists as I would any perfume, or even on my neck if I wanted to. And so another great way to apply essential oils when we talk about body creams and whatnot, and eczema or how they would react to you, I have found topical application of essential oils to be very helpful for me. So I was having a problem with eczema, and I was being given things I knew weren't going to really help me in any way but maybe mask the symptoms. But at the time, I really didn't care when I didn't know what was happening to me, when I hadn't made that connection. But I found that, and so I was using corticosteroid cream basically, which in turn just kind of kills your gut. It's a nasty cycle. But I was using these corticosteroids and they were actually making me burn. They actually kind of made my eczema worse. They didn't really help me. They've helped me, you know, they might help me sometimes when I was having contact dermatitis, which was a direct reaction to something. But when it came to a chronic condition that was creating these rashes, there really was not going to be anything that was going to help me until I fixed that problem, until I made that connection. But of course, when you're in the midst of it, you still need relief, right? So I did find some relief in using essential oils on my skin topically for these eczema issues. So I ended up making a cream with some coconut oil, and sometimes, excuse me, And sometimes I would do it directly if I was having an absolute immediate reaction. So I would make like a small eczema cream like I had talked about before. Melaleuca was a really good one for me. Melaleuca is just a wonderful oil. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about it, how it kills mold. And so for my particular situation, I think maybe the makeup of that particular essential oil was beneficial for me. So, and it's known to be very, very good for the skin. So Melaleuca was a good one for me. So you can definitely do that. You can make something that helps you as you go along. So you can make a 4-ounce jar of something. And then for me, sometimes it was so acute that I would have a roller. So doTERRA also makes pre-diluted rollers of certain oils to use specifically for topical applications. So sometimes I would have a rash and I would put the Melaleuca on, and that would help with the itching is what I really found. And then I would actually layer lavender on top of that. And lavender is all things calming. Lavender is a wonderful, wonderful oil, whether you're diffusing it or if you need it it's great for topical application. It's a very soft oil. It's good for pretty much anything. You know, when you're thinking about little boo-boos and stuff with kids, this is a great oil. I personally do not ever recommend using essential oils that are not diluted. There will be companies, there will be recipes, there will be protocols that are suggested throughout the world of social media that you can use essential oils directly. However, again, you can absolutely have a sensitivity, develop a sensitivity to an essential oil. And that is usually when you've used it straight, or what they'll call neat, over and over and over again. Again, when we're talking about our immune systems, we never want to do something over and over and over and over and over again. I always say, rotate your good habits and rotate your bad habits. So I never really particularly use essential oils without a need for them. They definitely can support us. So when I need that support, I make things that are useful for me. But I always dilute them. I do apply them on the bottom of my feet. I have a protocol for my thyroid that I do use certain oils on the bottom of my feet regularly. But even then, I give my body a break for a couple days or a week or so. And so that should be the case with any essential oil. So when you hear something's good for your skin, and I'm guilty, I can no longer use frankincense on my face, which is terrible because it's great for wrinkles. So I guess I'm just out of luck. But I actually made myself desensitized to frankincense because I got into a routine where I was using it daily in my face products. My immune system is compromised, it's very sensitive, and so therefore I ended up having a dermatological reaction to it. And now, desensitization is forever. It is forever. So if you force your body to be sensitive to something, chances are you'll never be able to have it again without having that same reaction. So definitely you want to use things when you need them. And that would be true with conventional practices. You know, you don't want to be using medications if you don't need them. So we always try the natural way first. So another great application for lavender oil would be to make diaper rash cream. It's nice and calming, and it's very soothing. I've gotten a lot of compliments from people who use it. So again, you don't use it all the time. You use it when there's a diaper rash. Don't just jump and say, ooh, this idea of essential oils is so exciting. I'm just gonna go for it. When it comes to making homemade products and laundry detergents and sprays and stuff like that, you know, or using it aromatically, you don't really have to worry. You can diffuse all day with no worries. But you definitely want to think about safety practices when you start using essential oils on your skin or even internally, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. More stuff. So we got bug spray. I hate bugs. This place gets crazy with mosquitoes sometimes. But Bug sprays are awful. Bug sprays are so terrible. There's a campground near us and we had cottage rentals and stuff, so people leave things behind. So I happen to have a very popular child's bug spray here. And of course, they make the writing so small that you don't even want to bother reading it, really. My glasses. I wear contacts. All I can really see is contains 4.75% DEET. DEET, not a good word. DEET is like the mother of all, like that's the mother of toxins when you think about it, right? There are definitely essential oils that bugs hate. Also, doTERRA makes a protective blend. It's an outdoor blend. It's specifically made for that. So definitely try to think about your bug spray and alternatives for that. So this blend, TerraShield, is also available in an essential oil, so you can make your own. This is kind of a smaller bottle. It's good for your purse, but definitely if you wanted to make bug spray at your home, you absolutely can. And vinegar, there's vinegars that help with that, and water, just some water. Witch hazel is a good emulsifier, and blends of essential oils. So there's a huge list of essential oils that bugs hate. There's peppermint, there's lemongrass, citronella, eucalyptus, lemon eucalyptus, arbidovay, patchouli, I like patchouli, basil, thyme, lemongrass, I said lemongrass, cedarwood, all kinds of essential oils that bugs hate. So you can totally make your own caustic. That's another one that we pay. Like you go buy a bottle of bug spray, you pay like 20 bucks for it just to poison yourself and your family. You're like, okay, cover your face. Okay, turn around. Okay, now run away, run away. And then our animals too. Sunscreen is really bad too. Sunscreen is full. There's a few different names that we want to look for that I'll post up, but PABA is one of the big ones. So you definitely want to take a look at your sunscreen. There are all natural sunscreens out there, and the complaints that I hear are but they're just so expensive. Yes, they're a little more expensive, but what's more expensive? We slather them in this stuff, like from head to toe, basically eating it and drinking it, sticking in our nose. I mean, we'd like lather them up with this stuff. So you definitely want to use products that you know are not poisoning you or your children. Conventional sunscreens block 99.9% of all vitamin D. So we're all here that we don't get enough vitamin D, and then we lather ourselves up before we even walk outside. So you can expose yourself to the sun for about 15 minutes, and that's actually really good for you. And you definitely still want to use sunscreen, but you want to make sure that you're using a non-toxic, more natural-based sunscreen. They do exist out there. You just have to be more prudent about finding them. And then as far as cosmetics go, I try to find more natural products all the time. It's something that I'm constantly looking for because it's something that I do enjoy. The industry for cosmetics is very highly unregulated. So they're just starting to make those changes now. And so there are great stores out there now, great chains, great products out there that are more natural products. So we just want to do our best to find a more natural solution. We start with one change at a time. So tonight's homework is to find one thing out of all of these things that we talked about that you're going to change today. Let me know what that is in the comments below, and that will be your homework. Again, we participate in homework for the drawing of our free prize at the end of the week. And again, I hope you enjoyed this information, and I'll see you again tomorrow with some more. Thanks. Ta-ta for now.